Attention passionate Kansas City CHIFS fans, latest news, something big is happening in the AFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Kansas City Chiefs' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Kansas City Chiefs fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Kansas City CHIFS FANS. Let's get to the news now, guys. Let's dive into what could be a game-changing move that's stirring up the AFC West this offseason. We all know the Chiefs are always hunting for ways to stay on top, to push that needle further, especially in the trenches where games are often won or lost. And it looks like the Cleveland Browns, a team that's been trying to find its footing and build around their core, might be the next team to shake things up in a way that benefits Kansas City. Now, I know what you're thinking. What could possibly link the Browns and the Chiefs in this offseason? Well, it all comes down to some potential trades, cap space maneuvering, and roster decisions that could have ripple effects across the division. First, let's set the scene. The Browns, unlike their usual reputation for chaos, haven't actually traded away many players this offseason. That's a surprise, right? Many expected them to unload some veterans or shake up their roster, especially considering their salary cap situation, which is quite tight. Cleveland is dealing with a pretty miserable cap scenario, and honestly, that's putting a lot of pressure on their front office to make some tough decisions. They're trying to find a way out of that financial mess, and one of the key strategies in the NFL in such situations is to trade players before they hit free agency or get too expensive. And here's where it gets interesting for us Chiefs fans. The Browns have some players entering their final year under contract, meaning they're prime candidates for trades if the right offer comes along. One name that stands out in this context is Wyatt, an offensive lineman who's been quite a force when healthy. Teller is about to enter the last year of a pretty hefty deal worth $57 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. Teller has had his share of injuries, and his 2024 season showed some signs of wear and tear after 3 straight Pro Bowl campaigns. That's a red flag for some teams, but for others, especially a team like the Chiefs that's always looking to bolster their offensive line, he's a valuable piece. Why? Because Teller is versatile. He's played both guard positions effectively, and despite predominantly playing right guard, he has the talent and experience to slot into left guard if needed. For the Chiefs, who had some issues along the line last season, adding a proven veteran like Teller could be a real boost. Remember, Kansas City's offensive line has been a topic of discussion for a while now. Protecting Patrick Mahomes and providing him with enough time to make those incredible throws is always a priority. If you think back to last year, the offensive line faced some struggles, especially in the playoffs. That's why the potential acquisition of someone like Teller is so intriguing. Now, here's a little bit of the technical side of this possible trade. According to Brandon Austin from Pro Football Network, the Browns could potentially move Teller before June 1st, which would save them around $7 million in cap space right now. That's a significant saving, especially considering their tight cap situation. Moving him after June 1st would open up even more savings, about $13 million, but the trade timing matters because it affects the cap implications and the dead money they'd carry. And let's not forget, Cleveland is also looking to get something back in return for players they might lose in free agency next year. This is where the Chiefs come into the picture. A team like Kansas City, with its deep roster and the ability to absorb some salary cap hits, could be a perfect landing spot for Teller. Not only because of the immediate need on the offensive line, but also because of his experience, versatility, and proven track record. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, an accolade that speaks volumes about his talent and ability to perform at a high level. Sure, he's had some injury issues, but when healthy, he's one of the better guards in the league. And in Kansas City, where the offensive line has to protect the most valuable player in the league, you can never have enough talent and depth. And let's talk about the bigger picture. The Chiefs are coming off yet another Super Bowl appearance, falling just short of the title. That's motivation enough to keep pushing, to keep upgrading the roster and addressing weak spots. The offensive line was a point of concern last season, especially in critical moments. Having someone like Teller who can step in and contribute immediately could be a game changer. It could give Mahomes that extra second he needs to find his receivers or extend plays, which is often the difference between a good season and a championship-winning one. But it's not just about the line. This potential move also signals the Chiefs' aggressive approach to staying on top. They've shown time and again that they're willing to make bold moves, trades, draft picks, and signings to keep their championship window open. Adding a veteran like Teller, who can bring leadership and stability to the offensive line, aligns perfectly with their philosophy. Plus, with the Chiefs' front office known for its strategic mindset, they're always looking for under-the-radar opportunities to improve the team without giving up too much in return. Now, let's consider the broader AFC West context. The division has been quite competitive in recent years, with the Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos all making moves to improve their squads. The Chargers, for instance, invested heavily in their defense and revamped their offensive line. The Raiders have been aggressive in free agency, and the Broncos, well, they're always looking to rebound after some rocky seasons. For the Chiefs to maintain their dominance, they need to keep ahead of these teams, and upgrades along the offensive line could be the key. Imagine if the Chiefs managed to acquire Teller, it could shift the division's balance of power. Kansas City would not only improve its protection for Mahomes, but also potentially open up more running lanes for their backs and create more consistency in their offensive game plan. That kind of stability and depth can be the difference in close games, playoff battles, and ultimately in winning that elusive third Super Bowl in 4 years. Now, I want to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of the Chiefs' roster. Patrick Mahomes is obviously the centerpiece, and his ability to extend plays and make throws from impossible angles is what makes the offense so lethal. But football is a team sport, and around Mahomes, the offensive line, receivers, and running backs need to be firing on all cylinders. The Chiefs have invested heavily in building around Mahomes, drafting solid offensive linemen like Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, and adding talented receivers like Travis Kelce, who continues to be one of the best tight ends in the league. But even with all that talent, you can't overlook the importance of a solid, dependable offensive line. And that's what makes the potential acquisition of Wyatt Teller so appealing. He's not just a stopgap, he's a player who has proven he can perform at a high level in the NFL, and his versatility means the Chiefs could deploy him exactly where they need him. Plus, his experience and leadership could help stabilize the unit, especially in high-pressure moments. But let's be clear, this is speculative at least for now. The Browns haven't officially announced any trades, and there's always the possibility that Cleveland keeps Teller or finds other solutions to their cap problems. Still, the fact that this kind of trade is being discussed indicates how active this offseason could be for all teams involved. The NFL offseason is a chess game, and moves like these, even if they don't happen immediately, set the tone for what's to come. And speaking of the Browns, it's interesting to see how they're approaching this period. They've been linked to some blockbuster trades involving quarterbacks and other key players, but nothing has materialized yet. Their focus seems to be on managing their salary cap and trying to get value for players they might not be able to keep long-term. That's a smart move, especially considering the NFL's salary cap constraints, but it also creates opportunities for teams like the Chiefs to swoop in and make strategic acquisitions. Furthermore, the Chiefs themselves aren't sitting still. They've been active in free agency, re-signing key players and looking to add depth in critical areas. Their draft strategy has been focused on both immediate impact and long-term development, and they seem to be balancing those priorities well. The addition of a player like Teller would fit perfectly into their approach, an experienced veteran who can contribute right away and help push the team closer to that ultimate goal, another Super Bowl victory. It's also worth mentioning that Kansas City's front office has a reputation for being shrewd and strategic. They're always looking for ways to improve, whether through draft picks, trades, or signings. The possibility of bringing in someone like Teller, who could fill a glaring need and provide leadership, is exactly the kind of move that keeps the Chiefs at the top of the NFL food chain. And you have to imagine that Mahomes and Andy Reid are already weighing in on such opportunities, knowing how crucial it is to keep the roster competitive and fresh. As we look ahead to the upcoming season, the excitement is building. Fans are eager to see how the roster shapes up, what moves are ultimately made, and how the team will respond to the challenges of defending their throne. The AFC West, as always, will be a battleground, with each team trying to outdo the other. But if the Chiefs can make a move like acquiring Wyatt Teller, it could be the edge they need to maintain dominance and chase that third Super Bowl title in 4 years. So Chiefs fans, you've got to stay tuned, because this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory. The potential for big trades, strategic signings, and roster upgrades is endless. And honestly, it's a great time to be a Chiefs supporter. We've seen this team defy expectations year after year, and with the right moves, they could very well be back in the big game fighting for another ring. The path to another Super Bowl isn't just about having the best quarterback, it's about having the best team around him, the right strategy, and the willingness to make bold moves. And if the rumors about Teller are true, the Chiefs might be about to make one of those bold moves that will keep them at the top for years to come. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Kansas City Chiefs news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Kansas City Chiefs fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think adding Wyatt Teller would make a real difference? Are you excited to see what kind of impact he could have on the offensive line? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Kansas City Chiefs. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Kansas City Chiefs news. We're always looking at the big picture, analyzing every move, and bringing you the inside scoop on everything Chiefs related. Remember, this team is built on passion, strategy, and a relentless drive for excellence, and I can't wait to see what this offseason has in store for us. Keep that Chiefs pride alive, and I'll see you in the next video.